Eyewitness News, the Northwest's most complete, comprehensive, and up-to-the-minute coverage with meteorologist Dennis Feltgen, sportscaster Robb Leer, and anchorman Stan Turner.
Good evening, everyone. Cindy Brucato is on vacation. I think her timing is very good. If for some mad reason you were thinking of putting away your skis and winter clothes, forget it. Another winter storm is heading our way, and it appears to be a big one. So let us check in right away with Dennis Feltgen, who is keeping track of things up in KSTP Weather Services. Dennis?
Stan, the storm has not gone away. It is still winding up in the southwest. And the latest satellite photograph just down from space confirms the story. The area of low pressure, that winter storm, is now in New Mexico, but there's a massive cloud shield well ahead of it. As you can see, those clouds have indeed moved into the upper Midwest. And because of the potential for heavy snow and high winds here in the state of Minnesota, we have winter storm watches for tomorrow and tomorrow night, and that is northwestern Wisconsin as well. That includes the Twin Cities metropolitan area. Could be some flash flooding in extreme southeastern Minnesota. Flash flood watches are out there too. We'll have more on this weather situation coming up in a couple of moments.
Okay, thank you, Dennis. We are not the only ones, by the way, watching the weather tonight. In Fort Wayne, Indiana, floodwaters continue to produce big problems there. Hundreds more families were forced to leave their homes today, and that brings the total of homeless to well over 10,000. Volunteers spend most of this day trying to patch up leaky dikes and hoping that they will hold against the rains that are expected tomorrow. So far, damage estimates are set at $21 million. Locally tonight, St. Paul police are disappointed. They thought they were close to solving one of the city's murders, but new information have sent the police back to square one in the murder case of Kimberly Compton. That information came to light when police took a rare step and opened their files to the media. Lindsay Strand has more on the story.
Retired St. Paul Detective Earl Mills returned to the force for one day this week to open the files of his 7-month investigation to the media. He said he was convinced information received 4 days after he retired last February answered the question of who killed Kimberly Compton. Mills believed it was Alan Lopez, indicted for killing his parents and sister at their St. Paul home last August. Found mentally incompetent to stand trial, Lopez was sent to the State Security Hospital in St. Peter, where he committed suicide before police could talk to him. But while barricaded inside his family's house last summer, he had confessed to killing Compton. Police, however, had ruled him out as a suspect because they linked the Compton murder to another case they didn't believe Lopez could have committed. The link was in taped telephone calls to police. Kimberly Compton's body was discovered last June along an unfinished portion of 35E, only 3.5 hours after she arrived in town by bus. Police were tipped off to the murder with this chilling phone call.
Will you find me? I just stabbed somebody with an axe pick. I can't stop myself. I keep killing somebody.
The voice seemed to match that of a man who called police January 1st of last year to inform them of an attack on another woman.
Yes, please, this is an emergency. Please send a squad to Pierce Butler Road, Molenberg Manufacturing Company, machine shop. Please, there's an ambulance too. There's a girl hurt there.
Can you tell me what happened to her?
Just hurry, she's laying on the ground in the back by the railroad tracks, by the airfield. Hurry.
What's the address?
I don't know.
Who are you? Hello?
Arriving at the location the caller described, police found Karen Potak, badly beaten but still alive. Police didn't think Lopez could have committed the attack because they thought he was in the Anoka State Hospital that night. But just 5 weeks ago, Mills learned that Lopez was granted a pass to leave the hospital the day Potak was assaulted. And that information made him confident Lopez attacked both women.
Based on the telephone calls we received, his vicious nature with his family, the fact that he was not in an institution, public institution at the time of either of the cases.
But information obtained by the media and the new investigator on the case has shattered Mills' theory.
One phone call to the Ramsey County Jail determined that while Lopez may have been out of the state hospital the night that Potak was attacked, he was in the Ramsey County Jail the night Kimberly Compton was murdered, clearly ruling him out as a suspect in the case and sending police back to square one in their investigation.
Police Chief William McCutcheon refused to comment directly on the quality of the investigation, but said the quality of future investigations should be improved by a recent departmental reorganization. Lindsay Strand, Channel 5 Eyewitness News, St. Paul.
So the police are again looking to you, the public, for any new tips about this case. If you have any information, please call the police. The number 292-3650. Once again, 292-3650. Minneapolis police are also in the news tonight. Mayor Don Fraser wants to investigate hundreds of police files, but his efforts have been thwarted, at least temporarily. Byron Barnett has that story.
In his State of the City address this year, Mayor Don Fraser announced he planned an examination of the Police Internal Affairs Office. The Hennepin County Bar Association was asked to select a team of lawyers to conduct those proceedings.
We've had quite a few complaints, and what has been said to us is that there is such a lack of confidence in the Internal Affairs Unit by some people that they won't bring their complaints to that unit when they have them.
These are the carefully guarded files Mayor Fraser wants his team of lawyers to examine. They include hundreds of investigations of police officers dating back several years, cases that no one has access to except the police themselves. But at the request of one group of police officers, a Hennepin County court issued a temporary restraining order preventing that examination. The officers say outsiders shouldn't be digging up old cases that have already been settled, especially when testimony in those cases was given in confidence.
If we don't have the confidentiality, the officers won't have to come in anymore, unless it's voluntary.
The cases that will be looked at are closed. They'll remain closed for purposes of any internal administrative action. We simply want to see what's been happening to see if there's any reason to change the procedures of the Internal Affairs Unit.
The temporary restraining order remains in effect until at least April 7th, when the case goes back to court. Byron Barnett, Channel 5 Eyewitness News.
There is still no word tonight on what caused the fire that burned through a downtown St. Paul business place a little less than 24 hours ago. The Halper Box Company at 4th and Wall Streets was gutted by the flames, despite the efforts of more than 100 firefighters to control the flames. This morning, crews were still pouring water on the building as arson investigators sifted the debris. Crews also tore down parts of the exterior walls for fear they would come down by themselves. Seymour Epstein, who owned the building, stood by today as firefighters salvaged what they could from what was his company's offices.
Well, it's 36 years going down the drain. It's not a very happy thing to see, I mean, but we're definitely going to rebuild and stay in business. We've been lucky. Our business has been going good. We didn't anticipate this, and we're going to stay in business. That's all I can say.
The damage estimate from the fire expected to approach $1 million. The Salvadoran government confirmed tonight that army troops shot to death 4 Dutch journalists traveling with leftist guerrillas in northern El Salvador. The official announcement says the leftists were surprised by an army patrol that was carrying out a search mission, and a 40-minute clash followed. 8 people were killed in that shootout, including those 4 Dutch journalists. Still ahead on Eyewitness News, more headaches for Governor Quee as lawmakers say no to their budget deal, and an old pro wants to get back into politics. We'll get to those stories and more in just a moment.
One should have voted for Nixon.
The trouble with most building supply stores isn't getting good prices, but getting good answers.
Sir, hello. Excuse me, young man. How does this work?
I don't know, lady. At Knox, we think it's about time you got answers to your questions. So we've put an answer booth staffed with experts in every Knox location to help you get the answers you need quickly and easily. Knox, good prices, good answers.
Farming is a risky business. Careful. You have to carefully consider every move you make. Easy. There are dangers in expanding your operation, risks in marketing your crop more aggressively. Watch it. A slip could mean disaster. So isn't it comforting to know you have all-risk crop insurance with you every step of the way?
Worn-out tires won't wait, and neither should you. Right now, Goodyear Tiempo all-season steel-belted radials are on sale. So if your tires are trying to tell you something...
Get Goodyear Tiempo all-season radios, now sale priced at $43. Size P155 80R12. Don't wait until it's too late.
Now we get to our daily state budget bulletin, if you will. A coalition of House Independent Republicans and a handful of DFLers shot down the budget balancing compromise on the State House floor today. The package was worked out by Governor Quee, House DFLers, and Senate leaders of both parties. But House Independent Republicans stood firm today, refusing to cast a single vote in favor of the proposal to raise taxes, cut spending, and delay some payments. The budget must be balanced, of course, and leaders are now faced with trying another compromise or letting the governor exercise his authority to make across-the-board cuts. Well, Governor Quee told reporters after that House vote today that he does not want to have to use that authority.
I'm not afraid to unallow, but I don't like the results of that, the results it'll have on people and services that the state provides for. And to me, that, as I indicated in my letter to the legislature, that's totally unacceptable. And we had a good proposal before the legislature that I'm convinced would is the one that we ought to solve our problem with.
So now, DFL leaders are trying to decide whether to adjourn tomorrow or to make another run at reaching some kind of an agreement. Politics, yes, is a rough business, but one man who evidently enjoys all of that and wants to get back into the political ring is one Eugene McCarthy. Today, he said he wants his old Minnesota Senate seat back. He gave up that space in 1970, and it's now held by Republican Dave Dernberger. Dennis Kraft has the details.
Eugene McCarthy began testing the political waters last August at the state fair. 3 times he's been a presidential candidate, and now he's trying to regain the U.S. Senate seat he gave up 12 years ago. Eugene McCarthy made his announcement that he was going to run for the U.S. Senate here at the state capitol. He said he knew that reporters would be here covering the goings-on of the state legislature, and he figured it would be a good place to get some coverage. That prompted someone to remark, Eugene McCarthy may have been out of public office for 12 years, but in that time, he certainly hasn't lost any of his political savvy. McCarthy knows he will need all the help he can get. In 1980, McCarthy endorsed Ronald Reagan for the presidency, even though fellow Minnesotan Walter Mondale was President Carter's running mate. That didn't set too well with Democrats.
If the party here in the state and the National Party were running strong, were dealing properly with the problems of the nation, they could say, well, you don't really have to come back. But we come back to a DFL party which is in disarray.
Many in the party blame McCarthy for the disarray at the Democratic Convention in 1968. They believe McCarthy's anti-war campaign and his failure to promptly endorse Hubert Humphrey gave the presidential victory to Richard Nixon. With or without party support, McCarthy says he'll run in the primary this September. Dennis Kraft, Channel 5, Eyewitness News.
President Reagan went hat-in-hand to businessmen today and asked them to support his economic program. Speaking before the National Association of Manufacturers, Reagan said there was some evidence that the economy is on the verge of a turning point, and he said that was thanks to his policies. But he also said he is not getting the support he says he needs from the business community.
Let me be honest with you, however, and tell you, I have been a little disappointed lately with some in the business community. What we need now is not last-minute haggling or displays of blatant self-interest. We need the support that only America's businessmen can give us.
The president said something else as well. He said that the recession will only be prolonged if it is always in the news. One thing that's guaranteed to always be in the news is the weather. Dennis Feltgen will have the very latest on that snowstorm that seems to be blowing our way. And a 17-year-old Minnesotan leaves for Cape Canaveral. He is playing an important part in the space shuttle's next trip.
Look at your next paycheck. Near $270 a week may qualify you for a new Berkshire townhome or condominium by Orrin Thompson. If the two of you have take-home pay near $360 each week, a new Berkshire home may be yours.
We can do it!
Orrin Thompson Homes has created Berkshire designs and very special financing just when you thought you couldn't afford a home of your own. Look at your next paycheck. Then come out. Let's build you an Orrin Thompson home.
Bell Telephone's done a wonderful job helping people stay close. You've seen those reach out and touch someone commercials. We at MCI thought you'd like to see something they never show you. What goes on when the bill arrives. If your long-distance bills are $25 or more, call MCI and start saving 30, 40, even 50% on long distance.
Now,
This burger is a burger.
Chili's good too, Ted. Chili's real good.
No, taste. I mean a burger the way a burger should be a burger.
Chili is good.
Like burgers tasted back
that is a burger.
when burgers were burgers. Thick beef.
Juicy beef.
Lettuce, tomato, red onion, butter toasted bun.
Good burger.
Chili's good too, Ted.
Chili's real good.
Poppin Fresh Restaurants. You'll go for our pies. You'll be back for our food.
Dennis wanted to stay real close to the scopes and the dials tonight, so he is up there in KSTP Weather Services right now watching things, aren't you, Dennis?
And watching is definitely the word, Stan. We have the new information in, and the computer's trying to make the storm just a little bit weaker than the earlier computer runs, but the bottom line is it isn't going to make much of a difference. It's still a very powerful storm and is not only going to affect Minnesota, but a large section of the middle part of the U.S. In fact, this is the way it's supposed to shape up for tomorrow. According to the Severe Storms Forecast Center, there'll be an outbreak of severe weather, severe thunderstorms, hail, and possibly tornadoes from Oklahoma all the way into the Ohio Valley. Fort Wayne, Indiana may get a couple more inches of rain, the last thing they need. Back in the cold air, we expect snow, heavy snow and high winds. That's resulted in right now a winter storm watch throughout a large portion of the upper Midwest, including the Twin Cities. And for heavy rain on top of swollen rivers and melting snow cover, flash flood watches are in effect. But right now it's kind of the calm before the storm. The 10 o'clock temperature is 38 degrees with a humidity of 70%. Pressure's starting to fall right now as that storm approaches the upper Midwest. And the almanac, the high today was above average at 40, the overnight low at 34, and no precipitation has been experienced for today, but that will indeed change for tomorrow. The storm right now, as we mentioned at the top of this newscast, is in New Mexico right now. It was a double-barrel job, but this center in Idaho is beginning to weaken, and the one in New Mexico is taking over. Cold air is coming in behind it. It's pulling up a heck of a lot of warm air ahead of it. It's getting help in the upper levels of the atmosphere, and as it moves on into the midsection of the country, it's going to all come together as the storm begins to wind up. A large area of precipitation is breaking out from this storm right now. Here's the latest national radar map across the country. There are still thunderstorms taking place in California. Snow is breaking out through the Intermountain region, but look what's happening in the center part of the country. Dangerous thunderstorms have broken out ahead of that storm in Kansas and Nebraska and the Texas Panhandle. A tornado watch is going out for that area of the country. And on our wide area radar network, National Weather Service radar from Grand Island, Nebraska is showing the leading edge now of the significant precipitation just about ready to move into Omaha and Norfolk. That's the area that'll move into the Twin Cities for tomorrow. But right now, KSTP color radar around the state of Minnesota and western Wisconsin not indicating any significant precipitation. But as I mentioned, that's going to change as that storm begins moving towards us. Now, this is the way we see the storm track based on the latest information from the computer. It's in New Mexico right now. By tomorrow morning, we expect it to be in central Kansas. By tomorrow night, extreme northeastern Missouri, and then it's going to slow down a little bit. It'll take until Saturday night just to get very near the Chicago area. And if that happens, the significant area of snow is going to be right there with the Twin Cities right in the middle of it. So this is the way the forecast stacks up right now for tonight. It'll be cloudy and mild with just a slight chance of some rain or snow developing later tonight with lows of 30 to 35. And for tomorrow and tomorrow night, a winter storm watch is in effect. Cloudy and windy with rain or snow in the morning, gradually changing to heavy snow in the afternoon, and a thunderstorm is possible too. Highs of 33 to 37, lows of 28 to 32 with strong winds. For tomorrow, the snow and wind will continue with temperatures falling into the 20s throughout the day. Chance of measurable precipitation only 20% late tonight, up to near 100% for tomorrow and into Saturday. And Stan, if we had to put a snow amount on this, it looks like we have the potential for anywhere from 6 to 12 inches of a heavy wet snow. So indeed, it is a very dangerous storm system. We'll be here throughout the nighttime hours watching in, and meteorologist Dave Dahl will have the very latest on Eyewitness News at 6:30 tomorrow morning.
Okay, thank you very much, Dennis. Several days of rain at Edwards Air Force Base in California have forced NASA to shift the shuttle landing site from there to a missile range in the New Mexico desert. In the meantime, the countdown for Monday's launch continues to move along without a hitch. And today, 17-year-old Todd Nelson of Adams, Minnesota, took off for Cape Canaveral for that launch. Todd's will be the first student experiment on the space shuttle. It'll be a study of the effects of weightlessness on flying insects. Todd won the opportunity for the shuttle experiment by competing with more than 1,300 other students. And Twins fans better take note of this, and pro sports fans in general, we can tell you when you go see them play at the new Metrodome in downtown Minneapolis this spring, don't bother bringing any air pots or thermos bottles. The Stadium Commission says don't bother bringing any hard containers into the Dome because they are banned. That means no cans, no bottles, as well as air pots and thermoses. The reason for the ban? To keep folks from throwing things in the stadium. A similar ban at the Met did not include air pots and thermoses, but my golly, they're in there now. Class at the corners is the subject of tonight's spring training report from Bob Bruce, and bad bounces in Birmingham helps describe the Louisville Cardinals putting an end to the Gopher basketball season in the NCAA playdowns. Robb Leer has Eyewitness Sports right after this.
Tomorrow's primary energy source will be clean, dependable, economical, and abundant. That energy source is here today. It's called gas. Modern gas ranges, infinite cooking control, plus choices like microwave for speed, convection for beautiful baking and roasting, even combinations in the same oven with gas. The new age of gas cooking. We're Mini Gasco, working to make your future more efficient.
I love this magazine. It's Woman's World. Every week, Woman's World gives you more of everything. This week, one fashion story creates a pretty spring wardrobe from mix and match separates. The needlework projects rustle up great frontier looks. Also this week, how to decorate the prettiest Easter eggs, affordable makeover ideas for your home, plus much, much more.
Woman's World. Only 75 cents at checkout counters. Get more of everything every week in Woman's World.
I have to tell you about the great gift I got from Estee Lauder today. And you can get one too, filled with her famous beauty products. This whole Estee Lauder collection, an $18 value, is your gift with any Estee Lauder purchase of $7.50 or more. How great to have Estee Lauder treat you to Estee Lauder.
Your Estee Lauder gift is available through March 27th at Dayton's Cosmetics.
Hardworking people have one thing in common. One day they'll retire. And that's why a First Bank IRA is so important to them.
I started an IRA at my first bank because there was no opening fee.
High yield. I get a good return on my investment, and I know it's secure.
Since there's no minimum, I opened my IRA with what I could afford.
Stop in your First Bank to find out more about our IRA, the way hardworking people make retirement worth working for.
Too bad the basketball Gophers are done dancing for the season.
They certainly are, but it was a great season at that. As promised, this one was a matchup of speed against size, and Louisville's speed won out with a 67-61 victory over Minnesota, ending the Gopher basketball season tonight in Birmingham, Alabama. Channel 5's Larry Burnett was there and files the game report.
The Gophers went to their bread and butter in jumping out to an early lead tonight. Randy Brewer got Minnesota going inside, and Trent Tucker kept them going on the outside. Both finished with 22 points. But Louisville tied the game 27-all on this bucket by Lancaster Gordon. And then Milt Wagner put the Cards up with this buzzer shot. It was 32-31. Louisville led at the half. Minnesota couldn't get on track in the second half. Brewer was held at bay as Louisville upped its lead to 7 at 45-38. Holmes tied it for the Gophers at 48 with just over 9 minutes left, but the Gophers could never regain the upper hand. This Tommy Davis attempt told the story. When the shot was there tonight, the wrong player seemed to be taking it, and sometimes they just wouldn't fall at all. Rodney McCray erased all doubts with this late dunk, and Louisville advanced to the Mideast Regional Championship game after a 67-61 victory over Minnesota. I'm Larry Burnett, Channel 5 Eyewitness Sports in Birmingham, Alabama.
The Gophers, by the way, are due to arrive 8:40 tomorrow morning at the main terminal on a Republic Airlines charter from Birmingham, Alabama. Other scores around the NCAA. In the Mideast, the Gophers a loser by 6 points. Early first half, Alabama-Birmingham surprising Virginia 26-19. Out west, Oregon State a winner over Idaho 60-42. Georgetown-Fresno State later tonight. From postseason college basketball to postseason high school hoops. And the 7th annual girls high school basketball tournament's underway today. In Class AA, Hill Murray's Mary Gottfried hits on the back end of this free throw with 4 seconds to play, giving her Pioneers a 51-50 opening round victory over Edina. The Hornets tried a last-second desperation shot, but it fell short. Hill Murray meets Rochester Mayo in the Class AA semifinals. Mayo a 54-51 winner over Minneapolis Washburn. In the night sessions, Duluth East remained unbeaten with a 54-33 win over Durham Hall. And at the half, St. Cloud Apollo really running up the score on Chaska. In Class A, Moose Lake a winner over Lester Prairie, and New York Mills a winner over Howard Lake Waverly. And tonight it was Tiny Tracy over Fertile Beltramming, while a fourth quarter score we have East Chain leading St. Charles by 3 points. Semifinals of both classes tomorrow. Title games will be on Saturday. The Twins got a run-scoring triple from Robb Wilfong and a home run from Dave Engel that beat Boston 4-3 in Orlando. It's that kind of leadership the Twins will be counting on from a number of quarters this year, notably on the corners of the infield where the Twins got some spectacular play at the end of last season. Bob Bruce continues his reports from spring training tonight.
The first baseball season in the new Metrodome opens in less than 3 weeks, and when it does, at the corners of the Twins infield, you might see two youngsters who had similar Major League debuts near the end of last year.
In August of 1981, Bloomington's Kent Hrbek got a storybook taste of the big time. In his first Major League game, the kid who grew up just south of Met Stadium cracked a game-winning home run in New York. It was quite a thrill for a 19-year-old who, just hours before, had been called up from the Twins Class A club in California.
I was more or less in awe the whole time I was there. And I was just, kind of watching Jackson and Winfield and everybody else, trying to say, hey, am I on TV or am I playing this game against these guys? So I can't really, express what I felt like. It's going to be one of the biggest thrills I ever in my life, I'm sure. But
not long after Hrbek's opening in New York, the Twins took a look at another youngster, Gary Gaetti, a strong-armed third baseman who started his Major League career with a home run in Texas. On opening day, Hrbek and Gaetti could be bookends in the Twins infield. They represent the future, but both must overcome some built-in pressure. Playing in his hometown, Hrbek has a natural following in Minnesota, a following which has high expectations for the young first baseman. While initially, at least, Gaetti will step in for John Castino, who not long ago was the American League's Rookie of the Year.
There will be a lot of pressure, but the biggest thing is be able to relax, and I've had a pretty good deal of success down here in spring training. It's the same game, but all the talent is better, and the pitching is a lot better, and that's the biggest adjustment you have to make is hitting in the major leagues, I think.
The team will soon be heading north to the new Metrodome. Now, what kind of team can you expect to see come opening day? Well, tomorrow night at 10, I'll have an overall look at the Twins of '82. In Orlando, Florida, with the Minnesota Twins, this is Bob Bruce reporting for Eyewitness Sports.
And the Minnesota North Stars will be without the services of Dino Cicerelli for the next 3 games. Last night, Dino was handed down a 3-game suspension for leaving the penalty box to engage in a fight. Around the National Hockey League this night, St. Louis a winner over Detroit, Hartford a 3-goal winner over Buffalo. Elsewhere, Chicago, Philadelphia tie, Vancouver over Montreal 4-2. And staying the basketball season over for the Gophers.
Yeah.
I was surprised a bit defensively how much room they gave Louisville underneath. Really, that was the difference.
Right. Okay, Rob. Thank you very much. We're out of time. Thank you very much, Dennis and the boys and the KSTP Weather Services will watch that storm system for you, so stay tuned for the updates. Okay? Thank you.
These are the new Nature's Harvest natural.
Shop Edina is there for your child. Call 941-7422.
The Challenger, the Johnsridge 520. The lightweight semi-pro chainsaw that outperforms other saws weighing as much as 50% more. CDI ignition.
Station of the Golan Heights.